Welcome to the Extra Innings podcast. I appreciate anyone who's listening and tapping into this first episode here. We're going to be having a lot of really cool guests on here, business owners, athletes, celebrities, musicians. I mean, we've got people lined up from MLB, UFC, NFL. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I wanted this first episode to be about a story I've never told. And so that first story is going to be my Darryl Strawberry experience. Darryl Strawberry is not a Hall of Famer, but he should have been. He had an incredible career. He was an incredible talent. But this is my story. So, all right, let me get into it because I can't believe I've never really told anyone this story. Maybe only a small handful of people. Definitely never publicly. So, all right. This starts when I was like, this had to be like 2007. It was like after I graduated high school and I'm going into my freshman year of college. And my buddy from high school, Christian, shout out to Christian. I should have him on an episode. He's owned like a really awesome food truck in Manhattan. And he's had a few businesses. So I'll probably have him here. But this story, had I not had people with me on this event, it would probably be the most unbelievable story. If someone told me the story and didn't have proof of like anyone with them, I wouldn't believe it. Which is why I've kind of never shared it, because most people wouldn't believe it was a true story. But it's fucking hilarious. So, my buddy Christian, such a good dude, invites me to a wonderful MLM meeting. Yes, I'm starting the show off with an MLM meeting. Coming out of high school, we already knew we don't want to work for anyone else. So we're like, let's go do something where we could kind of like have our own business and be in control of our own schedule, right? So like already tells you had an entrepreneurial mindset since like super, super young. Obviously, MLM is probably not the way you want to go. But my friend Christian invites us to this MLM meeting. So I'm like, all right, I'm down. Get dressed up, like shoes, slacks, button-up shirt, whole nine, not realizing that we're going to an MLM meeting. I pick up Christian and I'm driving my mom's car. It's a white 1995 Toyota Camry. It was a great car, right? I don't know where my car was at the time because I had a 94 Camry. Actually, no. Going into freshman year, I had a BMW, irrelevant. So pick up Christian in my mom's car. And I had my other buddy with me, and I'm pretty sure it was Gilberto, but I'm not necessarily, I don't remember who the fourth person was. But it's a friend, Christian, and then Christian brought one of his friends that I had never met before. So we drive over to Flushing to a hotel. I want to say it was like a Marriott hotel. And so we're at this hotel and we're at this MLM meeting. And immediately after like 20 minutes, we're like, nah, this ain't it. We're not doing this. Let's get the hell out of here. So like this MLM meeting basically just started and we're already leaving. So we come out the front door and, you know, us being 18-year-old idiots who like, we didn't know any better, you know? We don't, as an 18-year-old, you don't necessarily make the best decisions. You don't make sound decisions. And so we're outside the door and there's a dude smoking weed. And he's not smoking weed, he's rolling a blunt and he's about to smoke right out front of this hotel. And so we're like, we kind of look at each other and we're like, let's ask this dude, like, if he's got any more that he could sell us. So, you know, we're like, all right, well, we're gonna ask him. So go up to him, yo, man, you got any bud you could sell us, you know? Trying to smoke a little, maybe a dime piece, 20 piece, you know, got anything you can sell us? He's like super excited. He's like, yeah, man, like, of course, like, let me run up to my room real quick. And I'll get you a 20 piece right now. So I'm like, shit, all right. So he hands us the blunt. He goes, yo, hold this real quick. It's like, all right, gives us the blunt. We haven't paid him anything. And he takes off. And we all look at each other and he's inside the hotel, gone. He's going to his room to go sell us some weed. And we're looking at each other like, he hasn't even lit this blunt yet. Duh, we're leaving. Like, we're not gonna pay this guy $20. He just gives us a blunt. It's exactly what we need. And it's already rolled. So already, this story has already started with the nonsense. So we steal the weed man's weed. We take off. We go into our car, or my mom's car. In order to get out of the hotel, you have to pass through the front of the hotel. So we're in the car. They've already started sparking it up, and they're in a rotation. So passenger side, behind the passenger, behind the driver, and then to me, the driver, right? So they've all taken a puff. They're passing it to me. I reach over my right side to go grab the blunt. As I reach over the steering wheel, because we didn't have an alignment because we're from New York and my parents are idiots, this car just naturally, as soon as my hands came off the wheel, starts veering off to the right. And I'm in front of the hotel now. And I'm reaching over to go get the blunt. Okay. As I reach over, the car veers off and there's a car double parked, an Escalade. And I hit this car going like 3 miles an hour. Okay. Not going fast, but I hit it going like 3 miles an hour. And I hit this car so perfectly on the, like right where the door opens, that it pinched the door shut. And so this worked out perfectly in my favor because the driver couldn't get out. He was stuck. He had to climb over his console into his passenger seat and out the passenger door to come around the car to come like yell at us. But I have this blunt in my hand and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my fucking God. I open my window. I got the blunt in my hand. I see him climbing over through like the console, trying to get out of his passenger seat. I crack my window open and I throw my blunt. And then I'm having like an outer body experience. I'm watching this blunt do like full rotations in the air, and it's going and it's going and it's going. Cause like I'm like, I need to get rid of this shit. I need to get rid of it. And I toss it and boom, perfectly falls right in the sewer. Like the crack in the drain, like in New York, you have drainage tops, kind of like sewer tops, but for drainage, and it just goes across. And I throw it, and it went right in between the poles and just right into it. Gone, out of sight, never existed. What blunt? I don't know what you're talking about. It was the perfect toss. I felt like Kobe in a pressure situation, just all net. And I'm like, okay, all right, one monkey off my back. Like, I feel a little bit better about this horrible situation because now I have to deal with this guy who I just ruined his door. He comes out, he's yelling at me, and he's like, hey, like, what the hell is wrong with you? What happened? Blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like my phone fell. I reached over to get it. And like when I did it, the car veered over. Like I was going like 2 miles an hour. It was an accident. I'm sorry. Like I took my eyes off the road to go get my phone because it was on the floor. I didn't want to kick it or step on it or have it stuck under my pedal, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just making up lies at this point to get out of this situation and diffuse it. And so the guy is like, you ruined my door. I can't open my door, blah, blah, blah. He's like, stay right here. I need your insurance, blah, 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 this and that. I told him, like, hey, man, this is my mom's car. I'm so sorry. Like, let me get you in contact with my parents and, they could get you whatever you need and you guys could be in contact with them. He's like, okay. So I get my dad on the phone, pass the phone over to him, let him talk. So they're talking. My dad is not trying to go through insurance. So he's like, yo, I'll pay you in cash, like for whatever the damage is. You have take my cell phone number and go get your car, taken care of at the shop and send me the bill and I'll pay for it. Like, I just don't want to go through insurance. So that got taken care of. So the guy's in a little bit of a better mood. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So we get that taken care of. And he gives me my phone back and he's like, all right, just wait right here. I'm going to get an accident report. I'm going to call the cops, get an accident report just so I could, cover my bases and make sure that you guys don't take off on me. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. So we're there. And all of a sudden, This guy, he goes back off and he takes off and he's waiting. And I'm in the car just sitting here waiting. And the dude in the back who came with my boy Christian starts laughing. And I'm like, I'm still upset because I just got in a car accident. I dodged the bullet of the weed being caught like smoking, especially because in New York back in '07, it's illegal. So I'm like, I dodged one bullet, but I kind of dodging the second bullet, but I'm still not in a good mood. Now I'm pissed, right? So he's laughing, and I'm like, yo, what is so funny? Like, what are you laughing at? What is so funny? I don't even know you like that to be laughing at the situation. I'm starting to get upset and I'm ready to fight this guy. If I'm being completely honest, I'm ready to go back there and just beat the shit out of him. I'm so like, I'm not happy with it because I don't even know him. So he's laughing, laughing, laughing. And I'm like starting to get louder and louder and more angry. I'm like, yo, what are you laughing at? What's so funny? And he goes, dude, you hit Darryl Strawberry. I'm like, what are you even talking about right now? Are you high? Like you took one puff. Like, are you high right now? Tell me the truth. And he's like, nah, dude, you hit Darryl Strawberry. He's like, that's fucking hilarious. And now I'm like, all right, man, I'm about to go back there and beat the shit out of you. And then all of a sudden, a knock on my window. And I look, and it's none other than Darryl Strawberry. And my heart drops. One, because I was no longer mad at this guy because he wasn't laughing because it was true. I actually did hit Darryl Strawberry. But two, because I'm like, oh shit. Out of all the people in the world, for me to hit their driver while smoking weed, I hit Darryl Strawberry. Dude, I cracked the window open for Darryl. And before he could even say anything, before I could even say anything, and anybody who knows Darryl Strawberry, he had a very long career. And he's most notably, like, he's most known for his, for his run ins and addictions and suspensions and his dealings with drug use. And I just hit his car while I was using drugs. And so I cracked the window down. And before either one of us say anything, he goes, and he does two sniffs. And he looks at me dead in my eyes and he goes, were y'all smoking weed in here? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, man, my phone dropped and I went to go reach over to grab it and my car veered over. I was going like 2 miles an hour. I give him the whole spiel, right? And he doesn't ask anything else. He doesn't say anything. He just goes, nah, were you guys really smoking? And I'm like, no, we weren't smoking. But in my mind, I'm like, shit, if anyone knows that we're smoking, it's him. He smelled this from like upstairs. Like Darryl Strawberry knows we were smoking. So, he's still pushing on this whole smoking narrative that is actually 100% accurate. It's what we were doing. But I refuse to give in because I already got rid of the evidence and we kind of cleared everything with the driver. But now, here's where the story gets even crazier. Guess who comes knocking on my back window? The drug dealer. He reinserts himself into this damn conversation. He is now in the back window. Darryl Strawberry's in the passenger front side window, and the drug dealer is in the back passenger side window with his hand fully inserted into the back seat, trying to pass us the weed. He's trying to pass us the weed, and we're telling Darryl Strawberry we're not smoking in the car. And we stole this man's blunt, and he's not even asking for it. He's just trying to sell us the weed. And so my boy Christian and his friend are like smacking the guy's hand away and, like, nah, like, we're good, we're good. And the guy's like, oh, no, these are my friends. They're my friends. And Darryl Strawberry's like, you know these guys? And he's like, yeah, they're my friends. And he's still trying to pass the weed to us. Mind you, we haven't paid him anything. And he's still trying to give us the weed and not asking about the weed that we stole from him. And Darryl Strawberry's like, yo, who are you? And now Darryl Strawberry and the weed man are going back and forth with each other. And I'm just there with my heart sunk. Like, what is going on? And so my boys are like, yeah, like, we're good, we're good. We'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you later. So he finally takes off. And I'm like, oh my God. And Daryl Strawberry just looks at me like, he just gave me that look like, dude, I know. And then I just kind of gave him the look back like, I know that you know that I know that you know. Like, we know. We know that you know, you know? So that's that is the end of that part. That's part one. So cool. That whole situation ends. He ends up telling me, like, yo, man, be smarter, drive safer, stop being stupid. And then he takes off. Right. So I'm like, all right, that was as worse. That was like the worst thing that could have possibly happened. And we made it out of it. Now we're all dying of laughter in the car. Fast forward like a couple months, right? Because this is right after high school. Like this is right after I graduated high school. So I don't even think I haven't even started college yet. Freshman year of college comes. I meet a friend in college. Her name's Gabby. She works at a restaurant, like not even a quarter mile from the school. She invites us over to the, me and all my friends invites us over to the restaurant that she works at. We get to, get food really cheap, and it's super close to the school, which is super convenient. Food's really good. Restaurant happens to be owned by Daryl Strawberry's brother, Michael Strawberry. So this is a place that I end up going to pretty regularly because the food was really good. I got it for really cheap because my friend worked there and whatever. So I feel naturally inclined to have her be one of the first people we tell the Daryl Strawberry story to. Not thinking, one, that Daryl Strawberry is ever going to actually be in this restaurant. And two, not thinking she would actually tell Daryl Strawberry this situation. And I explicitly told her, yo, don't tell him. So, whatever. Time passes. Come back to the restaurant one day. And guess who's sitting in the back? Daryl Strawberry. Now, Daryl has no idea who the hell I am. But we sit down, order some food, and then I see Gabby walking over to go talk to Daryl Strawberry. She walks over from his table and comes directly to my table. And she goes, Daryl wants to talk to you. And if you've ever met Daryl Strawberry, like outside of a meet and greet, Daryl doesn't really smile a lot. So you can't, he's really hard to get a read on. And knowing his history, I'm kind of scared of this guy now. So she comes over and I'm like, Abby, you did not tell him. She's like, yeah, I told him it's hilarious. I was like, hilarious to us, but it's not hilarious to him. Why would you tell him? Like, I don't want to go over there. She's like, he already knows that he's calling you over. You got to go over. So I look over at him and he's looking at me and he just gives me like the finger, like not the FU finger, but like the come over here finger. So I'm like, here we go. My heart's pounding out of my chest because I know this dude he did not remember it. I go over. He's like, Gabby was telling me a story, about you hitting my driver. And so I'm like, yeah, I start telling him the story. I don't know the extent of the story that she told him. I don't know if she left the weed parts out, but I told him everything because I assumed she told him everything, which was the worst thing I could have done. So I told him the whole story and I'm laughing. He's not. And I'm like, oh my God, why did I just do this? What am I doing here? I need to leave. We need to just get the check and go. At the end, he ends up like, he's not mad, but I was actually surprised. He goes, I didn't make you end up paying for that, right? Like, there's no way. I didn't make you pay for that, right? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I mean, we kind of did. Like the driver. All right, so I left that part out earlier. So after all that ordeal, my dad was like, "Oh, we'll pay you in cash for it, so we could keep it out of insurance, whatever. Just send us the invoice." And then the guy was like, "Oh, instead of paying me cash, how about you just have your son drive for me and my company? We need drivers for the U.S. Open." And in my head, I'm like, "Dude, I just crashed into you smoking weed, and you want me to go drive tennis superstar, the greatest tennis superstars on earth, from their hotel to the U.S. Open?" This dude is out of his mind. So we ended up actually not paying. I don't think we ended up paying him anything, and I didn't do the driving for the U.S. Open for him, um, and we didn't go through insurance. So technically, did he make me pay for it? Yeah. Did I actually end up paying anything for it? No. So I was like, no, man, you took care of everything. I appreciate it. Like, I really appreciate you. Like, what we did was stupid, and you were great. He was like, all right, good, good. It was nice to meet you, and kind of just went on our day. Wow. I was so mad at Gabby for telling him that story and putting me in that position because he didn't look like he found any humor in it. I thought it was fucking hilarious after the fact. It's one of those stories where it's like a week has passed, a month has passed, and it's like, oh, I can finally process that situation. And then boom, another layer on top of it. It's like, when is this Darryl Strawberry debacle going to end? And you're like, it's never ending. It's Darryl Strawberry. It's a story that lives on forever. So until next time, Darryl Strawberry, and we could continue adding to the story. Um, that is my experience with Darryl Strawberry. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're gonna have way more ridiculous stories like this that are all true because I don't believe in storytelling. Um, I'll have another episode like this here soon, and we've got some cool people on the horizon that are going to be on episodes. So I look forward to talking to you guys soon, and have a great night.